foot, and he kept them in the game. He made some plays, and there were some plays that he didn't make. And they ran the ball effectively, and it was all good for 4 quarters, and to the very end. And then, all of a sudden, the implosion. And you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers on their side of the ball, they got leaders everywhere, guys who believe that they can come from behind and win. They've done it before. The Dallas Cowboys they haven't gelled together and been together long enough to say they can do that, or had character building wins. So it didn't surprise me that the Pittsburgh Steelers came back on the Dallas Cowboys. Defensively, Pittsburgh is still one of the best, and they believe in that. And all they got to do is just bring that energy. If they do, then they can shut down almost anybody in the National Football League. But for the Dallas Cowboys, man, it just comes down to consistency at the quarterback position. Having some guys, being able to walk up and down the sideline and get the guys going, encourage them, and give them that feeling like they still can win the game, or they're still in the game, even when they're leading. So they just didn't have that. That's what's missing, leadership and personnel. And it's just no way right now that they can change that based on where they are right now in the season.
I just think it's a lot of what you said, but I think it's too many mistakes, Skip. You can't turn the football over. And even though, Skip, Amari Cooper was pass interfered with, don't turn it over and you get a field goal out of that. You can live with that. And I get it. Just hold on to the football and don't turn the ball over. They have the most giveaways in the red zone of any team in the NFL. You can't take points away because points are at a premium, and you're already, Skip, you're already on a bind to score points. It's not like you going up and down the field, you averaging 35 a game. You give those points up. Skip, and also, Skip, the defense, they guess too much. Skip, why would you get beat on a slant and go? Just play your technique. I understand. And sometimes you start to force things. Like, I gotta make a play. I gotta make a play. We don't get turnovers, Skip. We don't get turnovers. I gotta make a play. And in the process of you thinking you're about to make a play, you give up a play. Steelers concern me, Skip, because they only had, 46 yards rushing. And then on 2 4th downs, Skip, they failed. That's a cause for concern. Gilbert is a little bit more athletic. I didn't know anything about him, Skip. Yeah, I know he went to Texas and he didn't do well there. He went to SMU. But he was a little more athletic than I thought. They put him on the move. He escaped harm's way. He made some decent throws. But as Mike was saying, good teams find ways to finish these games. When you're struggling, you will inevitably find a way to lose games. We say that all the time. Why they keep losing? Look at a team's record that has a losing record, and look at a team that has a winning record, and look at how they do in close ball games. The team that wins, they find ways to win close ball games. Team that loses, they find ways to lose close ball games. And your teams are...
I'll give you this. It is really hard to beat 2 teams at once.
Don't do that, Skip.
And that was the undefeated Steelers and the guys with the flags in their pockets. The guys who hate Jerry Jones and want to stick it to him at Jerry World. Everybody who watched this game knows exactly what happened. My Dallas Cowboys played well enough to win this football game. Garrett Gilbert shocked me. He played well enough to win this football game. My team deserved to win it and deserved to be right here, right now, in first place, albeit in the NFC least. They would have been in first.
No, you'd have been second.
No, they would have been, they'd had 3.
Because we got one loss.
Okay.
The Eagles got one loss.
That's true.
And a tie.
Okay, but the point is, but the point is that everything went well enough except for the referees in the 4th quarter. 3 times my team got all-time highway robbery. It was right off I-30, Dallas-Fort Worth, right at Jerry World, highway robbery, right before your very eyes in the 4th quarter. First play is they got it down at 3rd and goal at the 5. They're going in for 26-15 lead, and they got Amari on a little slant, and he puts his foot in the ground, and Joe Hayden is beaten on the play and just flat out tackles Amari. And it's not in traffic. It's isolated. You have to throw the flag on this. It is blatant pass interference that goes uncalled while Garrett Gilbert gets hit in the pocket, and it's just one of those unlucky things where the ball pops up in the air, and Minka just says, "Thank you, God, I'll take this," and runs it out of the end zone. The point is, Garrett Gilbert is jumping up and down celebrating because he thinks they threw a flag on Joe Hayden, but they threw it post-interception on a personal foul, on a crackback block. And I said, oh, we got this. No, we don't got this. They got the ball, and here they go. And that brings me to the most egregious call of the night. It's 8:36 left in the fourth quarter, and Ben's got it 1st and 10 at the Dallas 48. And finally, Ty Crawford gets to Ben and rocks him. And he fumbles a football, and Olin Smith picks it up, and he's off to the races all the way down to the Pittsburgh 21-yard line. But a flag has flown because, wait a second, Jalen Smith made a legal block. All you do is you chuck the receiver at 5 yards. He chucked him, and there was nothing wrong with the chuck because he didn't grab him, he didn't hold him, he didn't impede him, he just chucked him at 5 yards. You can do it one time, one chuck at 5 yards. And because the man went down, they threw a flag that was unwarranted. And it cost me a 1st and 10 at the 21, going in for 26-15. If we pull that off, we win the game.
You sound like Tom Brady begging for calls.
No, I'm not begging for calls. These are outrageous calls, which leads to the final one after Ben airmails Chase 1-yard line. This is with 4:03 left in the game. They called Jalen Smith for illegal hand to the face. He's trying to hit the football, and his fingertips hit Ben's mask. Just fingertips, and then the blow hits the shoulder. I'm sorry, I know it's letter of the law, but it's outrageous. They're going to have to punt from their 21, and it was still 19-18. Us. Well, that's just a wrong call. You let that one go. Brady got hit in the face on the first play of the game, and they did not call it.
I remember a very similar play in the AFC Championship game when Chris Jones hit Tom Brady's shoulder pad, and you wasn't this outraged. Why was that?
Because the first two were egregious. The Amari play and the Jalen Smith Chuck play. What? That's not illegal contact. That's as legal as it gets. I'm sorry, Michael, please back me up on this. Those were bad calls.
Yeah, I will say in watching the game and seeing the last call, the personal foul on Ben, when that happened, I just thought, man, that's just the Cowboys' luck right now. I mean, everything was perfect and lined up for this team to walk off in the sunset with a win, and it didn't happen because of that. And it's so unfortunate. And I look back over my career, and I always got to reference myself. But a lot of calls that I wish I would have had or we would have got, I might have had 2 rings by now. But unfortunately, that's how the game goes, and, you know, you got to respect it. So, you know, it's difficult, man. The degree of difficulty that the Dallas Cowboys are playing under right now, it'll help this team moving forward in the future, you know, as they continue to plan for the future.
Who put them in that situation? The Cowboys. The Cowboys did this to themselves.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Because
when Dak got hurt and then Andy Dalton got concussed.
Tell me.
Well, that's just bad luck.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from a defensive standpoint. The majority of the plays were called on the defense. That's what I'm talking about.
The defense held Pittsburgh to 46 yards rushing.
Why didn't you see if you had bought into the system earlier? Now all of a sudden you want to buy into it. But what about the previous 7 games when you weren't buying into it and you was giving up 30 and 40-plus points? That's my point. Like you tell me all the time, officials will give you calls if you earn it, you're a good team.
That's the NBA. That's the NFL too. It's different in the NFL. Free throws are one thing, but 15-yard penalties are killers.
Skip, you're a bad team. Why you want to accept that you're a bad team?
I think we're getting good. That's what we're doing. We're getting good. Right before you're my defense is playing really well.
I didn't give you some new glasses.
I pull it off yesterday.
I didn't give you some new glasses.
I was going to pull it off, and I'm still a bias. You know, I'm still at heart.
I know.
But I thought the Dallas Cowboys was going to walk away with one and hand Pittsburgh their first loss yesterday.
Upset of the year.
That was never
should have happened.
They're the Cowboys. You know what was going to happen, Mike.
I might need new glasses too, Shannon. I'm not exactly sure. I want to talk about some positive quarterback play. Did Tua or Kyler look more impressive in their showdown yesterday?
Easy.
Michael, please do stick around. We are not done here. That's next.